Today we are covering the intercellular highway, known as the circulatory system. Cells need many different things to maintain homeostasis. This ranges from organic molecules to water or oxygen for cellular respiration. In a single-celled organism, the cell will get all these things from the environment through diffusion. However, in multicellular organisms, it isn't that simple. Multicellular organisms are made up of millions of different cells, and the majority of them are not exposed to the outside environment. As a result, the organism needs a way to transport molecules throughout the body. This transport system is called the circulatory system. The circulatory system is made up of three components: the heart, the blood vessels, and the blood. We will start with the heart. The heart is the engine that keeps the entire circulatory system moving. Its main purpose is to pump the blood throughout the body. The heart is made up of four parts: the left atrium and ventricle, and a right atrium and ventricle. Both are separated by the septum. Deoxygenated blood arrives in the left atrium from the systemic circuit. When the atrium contracts, the blood is pushed from the left atrium to the left ventricle through the atrioventricular valve, or the AV valve. From there, the left ventricle contracts, and the blood is pushed through the semilunar valve into the pulmonary circuit. The right atrium of the heart accepts oxygenated blood from the lungs in the pulmonary circuit. It then goes through the same process of pushing blood through the AV valve to the right ventricle, and then through the semilunar valve to the systemic circuit to be distributed to the rest of the body. This whole process is regulated by electrical impulses generated in the sinoatrial node. The SA node sends electrical impulses through the conducting nerves in the atria to simulate contractions. From there, electrical impulses travel to the atrioventricular node, or the AV node. The AV node delays the signal to leave enough time for all the blood to travel through the AV valves and into the ventricles. After the pause, the impulse is sent from the AV node to the atrioventricular bundles that stimulate the ventricles to contract and push the blood out throughout the circuits. Without the AV node, the ventricles would not have enough time to fully contract before the ventricles would contract. This would severely limit blood flow throughout the body. Arrhythmia is a condition where the heart beats irregularly due to a malfunction in the heart's electrical system. This could cause the heart to beat too fast, too slow, or sporadically. Symptoms include chest pain, fainting, or even cardiac arrest. Fortunately, arrhythmia can be treated with medication, surgery, or electronic implants to control the heart's contractions. The circulatory system is able to reach the entire body through a series of blood vessels. Blood vessels have three main types: arteries, capillaries, and veins. Arteries carry the blood away from the heart and branch out into smaller arterioles to carry large amounts of blood throughout the body. They have thick walls that include a good amount of smooth muscle. Arterioles feed into tiny blood vessels called capillaries. Capillaries are microscopic and are about the thickness of a single cell. It is in the capillaries that diffusion is able to take place. After the blood passes through the capillaries, it flows into veins that travel back to the heart. Veins vary in size and regularly have valves that prevent backflow. Occasionally, blood vessels can become blocked. This happens when plaque builds up in the blood vessels. This can either narrow the blood vessel, restricting and slowing down blood flow, or it can completely stop it. Coronary artery disease is the buildup of plaque in the arteries, carrying blood throughout the heart muscles. Symptoms range from chest pain to heart attack. Treatments include lifestyle changes, medications, and surgery. Blood is made up of several different components: plasma, blood cells, and platelets. Plasma is made up of mostly water, but it contains ions, electrolytes, and plasma proteins. It is plasma that carries all the molecules in the bloodstream, including nutrients, waste, blood cells, and platelets. Because of its ability to carry molecules and the fact that the circulatory system is able to reach the entire body, blood is able to work with many different body systems. Plasma, for example, will pick up nutrients from the villi in the intestines and transport them to cells, assisting the digestive system. Plasma will also pick up waste and drop it off in the kidneys, assisting the excretory system. Red blood cells, along with the rest of the circulatory system, work as the second half of the respiratory system. Red blood cells contain hemoglobin. Hemoglobin molecules contain 4 iron molecules that combine either to carbon dioxide or oxygen. As blood passes through capillaries in the systemic circuit, the oxygen that was bound to hemoglobin is released and it diffuses into cells around it for cellular respiration. In response, the leftover carbon dioxide molecules are picked up by the blood vessels and carried away to the pulmonary circuit. In the pulmonary circuit, the blood is carried from heart to lungs. Here they pass through capillaries on the lung surface and drop off the carbon dioxide and pick up oxygen for the systemic circuit. In some people, blood cells are formed abnormally into a sickle shape. This is called sickle cell anemia. Sickle cell anemia causes the blood cell to lose its concave shape, and as a result, the blood cell has a smaller volume. The sickle cell can't hold as much oxygen or carbon dioxide as a normal blood cell would. These cells often get caught in blood vessels and cause blockage or slow down the blood flow. Sickle cells often die faster than regular blood cells, resulting in a lower amount of blood in the patient. Symptoms of sickle cell anemia include pain, infections, and fatigue. Sickle cell anemia is treated with blood transfusions, medication, and sometimes bone marrow transplant. White blood cells are both part of the circulatory system and the immune system. Like red blood cells, they circulate around the body. However, unlike red blood cells, they do have a nucleus. Their main purpose is to fight disease by creating antibodies or destroying invaders themselves. Platelets are used to patch up holes in blood vessel walls. After a breach, they stick to the sides of the blood vessel and clot up to form a patch. They put off signals, attracting other platelets and fibrins until the breach is completely sealed and red blood cells form a bigger clot. From there, they hold it closed and let the vessel patch the wall itself.